So today is the 59th webinar and the third session, part of national webinar on analysis of liquid retaining structures. This started from 22nd and this would be on till 26th of June. Please make a correction. On the last day, we would be having between 4 to 5 p.m. That is on 26th June. So today we have our speaker and Professor Ingle, and to welcome the gathering as well as the speaker, let me invite Engineer Krishna Sahakari, Chairman ACCI Goa Center, to give the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, on behalf of ACCI Goa Center, I welcome all the delegates who have logged in. I welcome Professor R.K. Ingle, who has agreed to our request to share his knowledge, and I thank him for that. The Goa Center is, for those who have logged in today, Goa Center is the youngest center of ACCI. We are just 5 years old and we are about 50 members in strength. So with that, I hand over to Mr. Anil Pillai of Premco. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So today is the third session and we have Dr. Ingle Saab who would be talking to us. Let me give a brief introduction of Dr. R.K. Ingle. He is a professor, Department of Applied Mechanics, Vishwesvaraya National Institute of Technology, Nagpur. He graduated from Vishwesvaraya Regional College of Engineering, Nagpur in the year 1985.
That's sir.
And he received Masters in Civil Engineering from IIT Mumbai in 1987 and PhD in the year 2000 from VRC in Nagpur. He was associated with Tata Consultancy Engineers Mumbai from 1987 to 1992. And thereafter, he switched over to academics, and he is having over 28 years of experience. He has guided more than 7 PhD and 4 R&D and 80 plus MTech projects. His publication includes 25 numbers of SCI Scopus journals, 31 numbers in other journals, 30 numbers of international conferences, and more than 27 national conferences. And he has also been involved in authoring many books, monographs, lab or design manuals, and he has authored various explanatory examples and various other things he has authored. And he is also having membership of various professional societies. He is member of many professional societies such as Indian Society of Earthquake Technology, Roorkee Institute of Engineers, Indian Society of Technical Education, so Indian Waterworks Association, Indian Association of Computational Mechanics, Indian Society for Wind Engineering, Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, Indian Concrete Institute, and Indian Road Congress. So we have our speaker today who would be talking to us, and this is the third session, and I am sure that we would be having a lot of takeaways. So in order to disseminate this knowledge, both the professional body of Association of Consulting Civil Engineers and Ramco Cements have come together so that all of us gain some specific knowledge in specific areas, especially in water retaining structures or liquid retaining structures, because there is so much to learn, and we are sure that this time is the right time to contemplate, to reflect upon it. So Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, as all of you know, is a body of structural engineers with various centers. So this time ACCI Goa Center came forward to organize this along with Ramco Cements. Ramco Cements is manufacturing 12 different types of cement based on the customer needs and the concrete requirements, and we have a capacity of 16.5 million tons per annum, which is expected to be around 20 million tons per annum with our expansion projects at Kurnool and in Orissa grinding unit. So what we do is that more than specifying the type of cement, we understand the concrete requirement. That's why you will see that Ramco Cements is manufacturing ordinary Portland cement, Portland Pozzolana cement, Portland slag cement, sulfate resisting Portland cement, as well as the Ramco Superfast, which is meant for precast applications. So that is the kind of customization that we have been able to adopt in our organization. So this kind of interactions with the construction professionals and various seminars and webinars have been helpful for us to understand various aspects on various aspects of construction. So we were having this webinar and this is the 59th webinar, and we had a webinar on various topics. ranging from geotechnical engineering to blended cements to concreting to reinforcement detailing to smart cities. And for the last 2 days, we had the webinar by engineer LK Jain, who spoke to us about IS 3370. So that was enlightening, and many construction professionals had a lot of takeaways. And I'm sure that today's talk by Professor Ramakant Dingle would also would be beneficial to all the professionals, and I don't want to take much of the time. So let me invite the speaker to continue with this presentation. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I will be just sharing my file first. Good morning, all of you. Now I will be talking on analysis of containers, and today with some design aspect as per IS 3370, and tomorrow I will be discussing more on analysis of staging of elevated service reservoirs. Both of these presentations, they are based on two people who have completed PhD on water tanks, and more than a dozen MTech students, they have worked on water tank. Plus one R&D project which we have done along with the Ministry of Drinking Water Supply, New Delhi. Okay, so this I will be covering whatever these people they have done in this 2 days lecture. First of all, analysis of container. We can have many types of container, like circular, which is underground, which is overhead. Then we can have rectangular, spherical bottom tanks. We can have conical tanks. We can have flat circular tanks. In Maharashtra, such type of tanks are very popular. And East tanks, which are quite popular in especially in North India. In Maharashtra, these are not very popular because its staging cost itself will be much high, okay, compared to the other cost. These are the tanks which are popular in India, in Maharashtra. It is basically columns and braces. I will be discussing analysis of this tomorrow. Basically, liquid retaining tanks, they can be underground, they can be on ground or elevated. Now, based on shape, they can be either rectangular, spherical bottom, conical bottom, circular tanks, inch tanks. And based on material, we can say that water tanks can be of steel. They can be of nowadays ready-made, then reinforced concrete and composite tanks. Composite means staging will be of concrete, and then ready-made tank is placed at the top of it, which is also quite popular nowadays in villages. Okay. Now, method of analysis. Basically, these are the 4 methods which are commonly used in analysis of container of water tanks. One is membrane analysis, continuity analysis, then IS code. See, IS code, it has given some coefficients. Okay, if we use those coefficients with certain boundary conditions, okay, that I am calling it as IS code method. And then more general is finite element method. Basically what happens, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, Dr. Virendra Dehadra, he will be discussing, okay, he may be discussing, we have developed one frame analysis method for water tanks, which is just equivalent to finite element method and which is much faster. And I recommended most of the time that particular method for water tanks. Okay, I will be discussing all this one step by step. This is one statement which I liked. This I have taken from Dr. E.L. Wilson's book, that is the author of SAP 2000. What he mentioned, structural engineering is an art of using materials to build real structures to withstand forces so that our responsibility with respect to public safety is satisfied. Now you can see the hidden things in this. an art of using materials that have properties which can only be estimated. They are not accurate. Let us imagine, suppose we are having a elevated water tank with many number of columns. Some column, and let's say our grade of concrete is 30. For few columns, we have got different batch. Grade of concrete may be M35. Some columns, it may happen that grade of concrete may be only M30. Okay. So what is happening? Itself, we are creating two different structures which are joined together having different properties, different E values, which may cause even torsion in case of earthquake. To build a real structure that can only be approximately analyzed. See, apart from simple structures like a cantilever, simply supported beam, okay, we cannot solve any structure exactly. Whatever software you are using, okay, none of the structures can be solved exactly. It is only approximate with certain assumptions. Okay, like I was talking about grade of concrete. We cannot have same grade of concrete for all the elements of ESR. Okay, but still we are assuming it is only one and we are going with that analysis. Okay, so like that, to withstand forces that are not accurately known. See what happens. Most of the times our wind force as well as earthquake force, they are function of strength of structure, that is stiffness, mass. Mass we can calculate accurately, but stiffness, it is again function of material, sizes, and analysis mathematical model. Okay, because we need a frequency to estimate our earthquake forces as well as wind forces. So again, those are approximate. We cannot have exact a value for that. Okay, so we can see with so much approximation, we should not, as a structure designer, we should not claim that yes, my analysis is exactly okay correct. I will say that if a structure designer he can reach plus minus 15% of correct results, I think he is a very, very good structural designer. Even after 20-30 years of experience, I can't claim that I am doing exact analysis for any of the structures, because all the structures, whatever analysis we are doing, these are results for that particular mathematical model. And how best we can prepare the mathematical model, it depends on the designer, and it needs experience and knowledge. Okay. Now we can see the difference between membrane analysis and continuity analysis. In membrane analysis, what happens? We assume all the elements, they are subjected to load, but they are not connected. And then in continuity analysis, basically this continuity analysis, it started with Professor Arya, who has published 5 papers in Indian Concrete Journal to suggest, instead of this separation between membrane analysis, we can have additional things. We can have compatibility condition here, so that displacement of this as well as deflection of this will be same, and solve it correctly. Okay, but we should remember continuity analysis, it is correct only when we have got purely axisymmetric structure. We cannot use continuity analysis for container resting on frame type of staging. Okay, yes, we can have container like this, and these are the shaft, so all axisymmetric. Then only we can go for continuity analysis correctly, otherwise this will not be correct. I have seen many designers coming with continuity analysis for the container which is resting on columns and beams. Okay, we cannot have same simulation there. Okay, so our analysis will be too approximate in that particular case. See, these are the certain formulas. I have just listed these formulas. I am not going into detail of this. Okay, certain formulas to give membrane analysis forces like Hooke tension, displacement, slope. Okay, and like this. Okay, this we can use. See, we can solve this particular problem of container by simply assuming a container wall, okay, which deforms like this, A to C, okay, and this total displacement will be WH R square by ET, this total displacement. Suppose there is no connection at this point. Now to have connection at this point, we can bring this particular point here. We can write differential equation for this particular structure, okay. This wall of thickness T and radius R, okay. This is our differential equation, which we can write. This is for deflection, and this is general solution for deflection. Once we calculate ABCD constants, we can get all the values: deflection, slope, and moment, shear at any point along at any point H from the top. Now this ABCD calculation, they are based on boundary conditions like fixed base, free at the top. We can apply these boundary conditions, okay, and solve for A and B, okay, and we get Hooke solution like this. This is our Hooke solution, okay. You can see it has been cross-checked with so many software as well as IS3370, because this is a standard case, fixed at the bottom, free at the top. Again, I would like to mention that whatever tables are given in IS3370, these are exactly same as given in PCI document long back. Okay. Now this is Hooke tension depending on H square by dt ratio, how it varies, and this is a moment value. Okay. Now you can see here H square by dt ratio is very small, 0.4. Our tanks behave like a cantilever. You can see here, even 0.8 also it behaves like a cantilever. And as our H square by dt ratio increases to 16, okay, in this particular pair it behaves like a circular. Suppose we increase H square by dt ratio again, 32, 64, 100, then it will be called as a deep cylinder, okay, for which also how to do analysis I will be discussing here. And this is a moment diagram, okay. You can see this is a cantilever part, and as our H square by dt ratio is increasing, our moments are different here. We can see once we have got that differential equation, we can solve for hinge base, free at the top, okay. You can see these are the moment diagram, okay. This is Hooke tension and moment diagram for that. Now I will be just browsing for many cases. There are many cases which are not given in IS 3370, but we try to solve it. Fix at the base, hinge at the top, okay. This is a Hooke tension, and this is a moment diagram for that, okay. Then hinge at the base as well as top, okay. This is at hinge at the base as well as top. This is a Hooke tension diagram. This is a moment diagram for different H square by dt. Then fix at the top as well as bottom. I'll be discussing why I am considering so many cases. This is Hooke tension diagram, and this is a moment diagram. You can see since it is a fix at the top as well as bottom, we are having moment at both the places. Then this is hinge at the base, fix at the top. This is a moment diagram for that, and Hooke tension diagram. Fix at the base and shear at the top. Now why shear at the top? You can see we are having slab at the top. Most of the times what happens, this slab is either resting on this particular wall or it is attached to the wall. Now, because of temperature, there will be contraction and the expansion of this particular slab, which may induce horizontal shear at that particular point. So this case is for that particular case. You can see we get moment at the top. Okay. And these are the minor errors in IS 3370. Okay. Some values, they are not printed correctly. Okay. And even these particular errors are there in PCI book also. Okay. Which we try to correct it. Okay. You can see at few locations there are errors. You can see here. Okay. At this particular point. Okay. Now, I would like to mention here, why so many cases? Fix at the bottom, hinge at the top, fix at the top, hinge at the bottom, free at the top. Okay. See what happened. We are having this particular slab. Okay. Now, before going to explain this methodology, I would like to discuss. Let's take a simple plane frame. Two columns and a beam connecting at the top, fix at the bottom. Can we take that particular beam as a fix in between columns? No, because it depends on the steepness of columns. Okay. Now, as we increase the steepness of column, let's make columns very big. You will find that beam starts behaving like a fix between the column. If you try to have slender columns, you will try to see that our moment is approaching to WS square by 8. That is simply supported case. Same thing happens here also. See, ideally, I would like to say that fix at the bottom is very approximate boundary conditions. Okay. Now you can see many times what happens, we have got 200 wall thickness and we have got 200 slab thickness. We cannot say that this 200 slab thickness, which is resting on soil, will give complete fixity to this particular wall. Okay. So it will not be exactly fixed at the bottom. Okay. Even at the top also. Most of the times what happens, our top reinforcement goes into slab. Okay. So it cannot be free at the top. So whatever assumptions we are making in solving using IS 3370, okay, those are very approximate. I would like to say that IS 3370 coefficients, they are only for verification purpose. They should not be used for design unless we are sure that our boundary conditions, they are exactly same as mentioned in IS 3370's table. Okay. Now, coming to deep cylinder, what happens? Our S square by dt ratio up to 16 it is given. Okay, so we can calculate based on that S square by dt ratio, that H here. Now, above part we can design as a membrane. Okay, and below part we can design considering the S square by dt ratio coefficients given for S square by dt ratio for 16. Okay, and we can solve the deep cylinders also. Or we have given in our booklet S square by dt ratio 32, 64, 40, so much values, and these values are also available in PCI handbook, okay, which can be referred. Okay. Now to see that, just now I had talked about fixity at the bottom, how approximate we are or how correct we are. Okay. We can use same differential equation, okay, with partial restraint. Okay. With partial restraint. Now you can see this particular graph. This particular dotted line is there when it is a membrane analysis. Bottom is free to deform. Now this particular line, it says complete restraint at the bottom. And with 75% restraint, you can see there is a deformation at the bottom. Okay. Now what happens because of that? There will be change in hoop tension. You can see our hoop tension changes. Okay. You can see this is our hoop tension. Most of the times what happened, many designers, they put hoop tension still at this particular location. Okay, bottom some part and top sub part, it is almost given minimum hoop tension. Now you can see, suppose there is a partial restraint at the bottom, our hoop tension increases at the bottom. Okay, even moment also, there will be variation in moment. Okay, so we have to keep in mind all these factors, okay, while using any ready-made table for design of container. Okay, I will just continue with this. You can see now this is a hoop tension diagram. Okay, this particular case with fix at the bottom here. Okay, restraint at the base, then some 25% restraint, 50% restraint, 75% restraint, 90% restraint, and this is membrane analysis. Okay, we can see how our moment this hoop tension diagram varies based on the restraint provided. Okay, so if we are providing, let's say 150 or 200 thick wall, and let's say 150 or 200 thick wall, we cannot guarantee that it will behave like a fix, but there will be some release in restraint. Okay, so while designing, we should keep all these points in mind. Okay, you can see how moment also varies based on the restraint. Okay, now this is again restraint at the bottom. This is restraint at the top and bottom. This is restraint at the bottom only, and this is a free. Okay, this is for H by root T, R is equal to 1. Okay, then this is again one more graph. Okay, restraint at top and as well as the bottom, and restraint at bottom only. Okay, this is just to explain how it varies. There will be considerable difference based on the restraint. Now you can see here restraint at the top and bottom. If we want to have restraint at the top also, we have to provide proper reinforcement at the top also. Okay, this will give our full fixity at the top also, like at the bottom. Okay, now day before yesterday, Dr. Jain was talking about temperature variation. Even we can take temperature variation also. I have not seen any designer considering temperature variation, but it matters a lot. Okay, we can have uniform temperature as well as gradient. Okay, now I'm just trying to show the hoop tension diagram. Okay, because of temperature. Now this diagram will be plus as well as minus depending on whether it is expansion or contraction. You can see the hoop tension diagram. You can see the moment diagram here. Now, not only moment we get in vertical direction, but we get moment in circumferential direction also because of temperature. Now you can see this is for 1 h square by dt ratio. Vertical moment is 150. You can see even circumferential moment we are getting 50%, 75 kilonewton meter. Okay, considerable. Okay, most of the times we don't design for circumferential moment. Okay, now you can see this is a comparison with water pressure. This is with water pressure, and this is with temperature. Okay, this will be plus minus. This will be symmetrical and minus also. Okay, temperature, because I have considered only one variation here, but you can see there is a lot of difference variation between water pressure forces and temperature loads on our container part. Okay, now this is our temperature variations. Okay, due to thickness. Okay, more the thickness, more will be the response. You can see here. Okay, diameter, effect of diameter is not that seen considerably as compared to the variation in thickness. You can see here variation in thickness is much high compared to variation in diameter of the tank. Okay, because of temperature. This is no, it depends on boundary condition. Now this is hinge at the base. You can see here, your diameter change Okay, variation in temperature is considerable here in vertical movement. Okay. Most of the times what happens, we are varying our thickness more at the bottom and top. We are reducing to whatever minimum requirement. There are no graphs given in IS 3370 or charts, or no methodology is given for variable thickness. Okay, now you can see this is also approximate. It is a thickness T at the bottom and 0 at the top. This particular is just to explain there is a variation between uniform thickness assumption and variable thickness. You can see here our value of hoop tension varies here depending on h square by dt ratio. Okay, so we cannot say that, okay, take average thickness or take more thickness or take a less thickness to find approximately, okay, the hoop tension or moment. That's why I'm coming back to that Dr. Wilson's slide. All our analysis is very, very approximate, and we have to pay penalty for that while placing the reinforcement. We have to be literally somehow liberal while providing the reinforcement, while providing the thickness. Okay, it is not, we cannot say that it is exactly provide only that much. Okay, so all this point we have to keep in mind. Okay, you can see the variation, how it varies. Okay, tapering walls. Okay, you can see the variation in tapering walls. This is a moment at the base. Okay, now this method of frame analysis which we have derived, it is based on the tank owing to circular nature. Okay, its deformation we can relate with the just similar analogy of soil structure interaction. This particular wall, we can say that it is resting on soil. Okay, like this 1 meter length, circumferential length of wall we can take. This is our thickness. This particular thickness is thickness of this our launder or this cantilever slab, or it can be passage at the top. Okay, you can see our moment as well as our hoop tension varies based on this one. So these are the springs which are based on radius of this tank as well as thickness and E value of this particular concrete. You can see the FEM analysis as well as frame analysis results, they are quite matching exactly. Now you can see this particular variation in moment is because of that launder slab at the base, okay, which changes the moment diagram. Now we don't have any chart, okay, and we don't get any exact results unless we go for FEM. Now FEM, what happens, it is quite involved procedure. We need good software for that and good experience also. But in frame analysis, what happens, you can see, I'm coming back to here. This is a wall. We can have any boundary condition here. Even we can have flexible boundary condition with springs here as well as here. Okay, and these springs are based on radius of this tank and thickness. Circumferential length will be only 1 meter. Okay, and apply water pressure on this. Okay, even we can have moment because of this particular slab also. Okay, and we can perform exact analysis, okay, using this analogy, okay, of beam on elastic foundation. You can see here top slab. Okay, top slab is there. Okay, these are the springs. This is the thickness of wall. Okay, and we can have our results ready. It is just like a plane frame. We get moment, we get shear force. Even we can get deflections also. See, nowhere we get deflection in our water tanks. There are no tables available. Okay, so here in frame analysis we can even get that also. Okay, you can see here, even we have done this for circular water tanks resting on soil. Okay, this soil can be of hard, it can be medium, it can be soft. Okay, and this is a water tank. Okay, we can solve using frame analogy method. Okay, this is the method which we have already solved, and we have cross-check it with FEM. Okay, again this is for h square by dt ratio 0.5.4 with TOW. See, we have seen one advantage with TOW. Okay, there are certain advantages by going for extension of the TOW. Okay, see, most of the times what happen, we try to use our IS 3370 coefficient tables to solve big water tanks also. Now in majority of water tanks, what happens, soil may not be exactly same. Okay, let's see here, soil is medium, soil is soft here, medium here, and hard here. And here soil is soft and medium. Our results will be different. We will not get same results as axisymmetric structures, but there will be different results. Okay, so we have to give consideration to that also whenever we try to analyze bigger water tanks, big diameter water tanks. Okay, and all this can be very easily taken in frame analogy methods. Okay, now this I have discussed about circular water tanks. Now I would like to go for rectangular water tanks. Again, rectangular water tanks, we have got an approximate method. There are many books which gives some approximate formulas. Even we have got IS code also, given coefficients. We can use finite element method. We can use finite difference method also. Okay, this is a tank. Okay, now you can see IS method, it gives this particular wall with certain boundary conditions, and it gives for standard also some water tanks like this. In majority of cases, we have to do certain corrections at the boundary because our this particular shape may not be same of this particular wall. Okay, so we have to do certain corrections at this particular point. Okay, and again, it is our assumption whether to take fix at the bottom or hinge at the bottom, or there will be restraint, partial restraint. It is a $1 million question, and only designer, he has to design it properly with certain more factor of safety. Okay, because it is very difficult to say whether it is a fix at his particular point or hinge at this particular point. Regarding circular water tanks, most of the water tanks which I normally used to design, I was doing by both. I was taking fix at the bottom as well as hinge at the bottom, and I was doing envelope of those results. Okay, it is good to go for such type of assumptions also. Okay, when we are not sure whether 100% it will be fixed at the bottom or hinge at the bottom. Okay, so certain types of assumptions designer they have to devise while using tables from IS 3370. So here also same thing is there. Okay, because such tables are given in IS 3370, even some other books also. At few points, moments are given, mx as well as my. Okay, now our study indicates that most of the times even we get torsional moment also here. See, we are designing only for mx, that is maybe a vertical moment and horizontal moments, but at certain points there will be torsional moments also. Okay, which we get from FEM, but we are ignoring that. Okay, so again I would like to say that even standard conditions are also met, our results will be approximate. You can see this is the FEM results which shows. Okay, This is a vertical moment, diagram for vertical moment. Okay, it is a free at the top, and edges fixed and bottom also fixed. It is subjected to water pressure. Okay, so this is a moment diagram. Okay, then top and bottom hinge. We have got different conditions for this. Top and bottom hinge, top and bottom hinge, and so on. Okay, so these are a few observations. IS 3370 gives design table. Okay, but it doesn't give exact value of maximum moment. It doesn't give even deflections also. Okay, in case of circular water tanks. Okay, it will be approximate. Okay, this some corrections which I have already mentioned. Okay, corrections are required at junction of rectangular or square tanks, multiple tanks. We can use FEM. Okay, most of the rectangular tanks, and for circular water tanks, I suggest strongly we can go for frame analogy method, which is very, very simple. You have to just master it. Okay, and any circular water tank with any boundary conditions, with any variation, it can be trapezoidal water tank with thickness 200 at the top and maybe some different thickness at the bottom, or anywhere. Okay, you don't have any problem with that particular things. Okay. Then again, these are the some forces which we have to consider. Normally what happens whenever water tank is there, we have to consider without any soil at from side and with water inside. No water inside, soil outside. No water inside, there can be water table which make you start lifting up the water tanks. I have seen some of the water tanks, they started lifted because of these conditions. Okay, then either they have to put either concrete here or have dead storage permanently in this particular water tank to avoid flotation. In case of earthquake, see, earthquake also cause some pressure on the walls. Okay, like this. It is called hydrodynamic pressure. Okay, you can see here there will be suction and there will be pressure on one side. Okay, so we have to design. See, we don't have any coefficient for such type of design. Okay, only FEM or some other maybe frame analogy methods we can do analysis using this. Okay, you can see here, this is hydrostatic pressure. You can see hydrostatic pressure uniform throughout, but hydrodynamic pressure will be something like this. Okay, so we have to keep in mind all these things. This is a hydrostatic pressure in rectangular water tanks, and this is in when earthquake is in this direction. Okay, there will be pressure on this side and there will be suction on other side. Okay, and this may change the behavior of our forces. Okay, now one more thing, how to model the tanks. This I will be discussing in more detail in tomorrow's lecture. Convective and impulsive. This particular slide I have put here only to mention that freeboard. See what happened. Normally we have got water tanks having roof at the top, and with invariably we say, okay, oh, provide only 300 mm freeboard. Now we have to consider, suppose our freeboard is 300 mm and there is a earthquake. This sloshing height, if it is a more than 300, what will happen? It will hit the bottom roof slab. Hitting the roof slab means what? Applying vertically upward forces. Generally what happens, we design water tank roofs for downward force, that is dead load and some live load. It is only downward forces. We never design our roof slab for upward forces. Now this may cause some under design of roof slab. Okay, so best thing is that If we want to restrict with 300 mm freeboard, no problem, but we have to design our roof slab with 2 layers of steel at bottom as well as top, because that top layer of steel will be active when there is a upward pressure because of sloshing effect. Okay, or we can have our freeboard adjusted as per sloshing height, because IS 3370 part this IS 1893 part 2 on water tanks, it gives expression for calculation of sloshing height also. So our freeboard can be increased according to that. Okay. Now these are the few references here. Okay, for this. Okay. Now I would like to go for my other presentation. Okay. That is IS 3370 part 1 part 2. This is a different presentation as compared to as discussed by Dr. L.K. Jain. Okay. I will be discussing more on design part. Okay. Now these are the various codes for design. IS 456 is general. IS 3370, it overrules some of the IS 456 codal requirements. IS 11682 we use for staging. IS 875 we use for dead load, live load, wind load calculations. 1893 for earthquake loading, and IS 13920 for ductile detailings. Okay. Now this IS 3370 part 1, it suggests concrete. It says that standard concrete is M25 to M55. Code suggests that our environmental condition will be severe, so we should go for minimum grade of concrete as a M30. See, M30 is a minimum grade of concrete. Okay, we should not take it right. Okay, to use only minimum grade of concrete. Even we can go for M30 grade concrete. Even nowadays for building people, they are going for M45 grade concrete. I don't know why we as a designer, we are restricting our use to only M30 grade concrete, because it is M minimum. Okay. See, it is a minimum grade. It is not standard. Okay. Standard is what you decide. More the grade, more will be durable the concrete. Okay. This is a cement content, and this is a minimum grade of concrete suggested by IS 3370. I will be just browsing on this expansion joints, contraction joints. Okay. Because Dr. L.K. Jain, he has already spoken in detail on these joints. Okay. See, we can use normally this particular table to decide the spacing of joints. Okay. Here, this W is a crack width and this is a strain. Okay. Most of the times what happens, we have to use water bars also. Okay. If our circumferential length is quite high, even we have to use expansion joints with water bars. Okay. Now this is a testing of structures. IS 3370 gives how to do testing of structure. It says fill the tanks, record the level after 7 days, record the level for next 7 days at an interval of 24 hours. Total drop in 7 days shall be taken as indication of water tightness, and this shall not exceed 20 mm. Okay. Then roof slab also we have to flood with 25 mm deep water, and there should be no leak. Okay, or damp patch below. Okay. Most of the times what happen, I suggest 2 layers of steel, even though roof slab may behave like a two-way. It is a good designer practice to provide top as well as bottom steel, okay, in roof slab as well as bottom slab. Okay. Now coming to design part of this IS 3370 part 2. I'll be taking 15 minutes for this, then we can have a question and answer session.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So generally what happens, IS code recommends limit state method. Okay. Even most of other codes. Okay, but our codes again says that, okay, we can still use working stress method also. Okay, here we have to use check for cracking. Okay, and it should not exceed 0.2 mm. Some of the foreign code, they suggest even 0.1 mm as a crack width, minimum crack width. See, we have to keep in mind that crack width means reduction in crack width doesn't mean increase in thickness of wall or slab or increase in reinforcement. See, we can always play with the diameter of bar and spacing. Okay, now you can see, I will show you one example. This is one example. Okay, a slab 4 meter thick, 185 thick. Okay, you can see here. I can have 10 mm bar at 125 center to center, and my crack width will be 0.1026 mm. I can have same steel, but my diameter is less now, 80 mm. Okay, you can see 0.07 mm. So it doesn't mean that we have to increase the diameter. And it again, this example again shows the advantage of going for smaller diameter. You can see, suppose same steel, we want to provide 12 mm at 180 center to center. Considering same steel, our crack width increases. Now, with this nowadays, I am most of the times what happens at site, contractor doesn't have, let's say designer has given tail dia bar at 125 center to center, and contractor, he doesn't have 10 dia bar, but he's having 12 dia bar. So many construction engineer, what happen, they allow, okay, because paying more steel, maybe 12 dia at 125, maybe increase in cost. Okay, that may not be proper. Okay, so they may allow 12 dia at 180 center to center. So you can see what happens. By increasing the spacing with increased diameter, our crack width will increase. So we should never allow at site to change the diameter of bar as well as spacing unless designer is consulted. Okay. Now, code suggests that if we use this particular stresses, crack width deems to be satisfied. Okay, that is 130. Okay, but this will give a very uneconomical design. Okay. Now, permissible stresses in concrete. This is for design. It is same. If we are going for working stress method, we have to go for this. Okay. This is the stresses given, permissible stresses given in concrete, depending on the percentage steel. See, I have seen many designers report, very few, they check for shear. I don't know the reason why. See, when we do the design for limit state doesn't say that, okay, you check only for flexure or shear or torsion like that. See, it is like that. We have to check for strength. Strength means what? Every member at any point, it should be checked for shear, flexure, torsion. And for serviceability limit, it should be checked for deflection. It should be checked for crack widths. Even it should be checked for vibrations also. Okay. So there are so many checks. So we should not avoid shear check also. Okay. These are the permissible stresses in steel. Okay. Code suggests that no separate calculations are required for moisture or temperature changes if minimum steel is provided. Okay, provided all these particular conditions are met. Okay. Provision of movement joint is also met. Okay, suitable sliding layer is also there at the tank and so on. Okay. Otherwise, we can go for annexure of this IS 3370. Okay, which I will be explaining. Okay. Now, nominal cover to the reinforcement. Generally, cover is given in case of column. It is given to the link. In case of slab, it is to the main steel. Okay. Now, if it is a two-way slab, both steels are main steel. Okay. So we have to give minimum steel, minimum cover, nominal cover to our lowermost steel. Okay. Now this is the table given by IS 456. Okay. 3370 IS 3370 suggests that our condition for water tank is severe. We should use 45 mm cover. Most of the time I have seen people. Hello. Some disturbances there. Hello.
Suraj?
Can you switch off your mic, sir? Dr. English, sir. Is it possible to switch off your mic?
Mic. Okay.
I'll be doing it from my end, sir.
See, we have to see 45 mm. Tomorrow I'll be showing some slides with photographs of ESR. How, because of cover, we have to rectify we have to remove, either rectify those water tanks, or we have to replace with a new one. Okay. So we have to keep in mind that our minimum cover has to be 45 mm. Okay. Okay, limit state method. I have already discussed with this. Okay. See, this is a minimum steel as per old requirement. It is a 0.3%, then it is reducing as per thickness. Okay. And after 450 mm thick, it is 0.2. Then if it is we are using Fe415 steel, it is a 0.8%. Now you can see this particular steel is almost 50%. Then what is today's recommendation of IS 3370? See, this is also one of the major reason why most of our water tanks, they are failing. Okay. Or they are not lasting long. Okay. One more point which I would like to discuss here, since this point has come. What is the life of elevated service water tanks? See, in one of the discussions, people say that yes, they consider this life of water distribution system as a 30 years. So 30 years is life of water tanks. I disagree with this. I don't know. Okay, it can be point of debate. My things are that our RCC structure should last more than 75 years. That 30 years life, it is for hydraulic design, not for structural design. Okay. So you can see that earlier we used to provide very less steel compared to today's requirement. That's why I say one of the reason maybe we are providing very less steel. Okay. Then again, could suggest, okay, suppose wall thickness is less than 200 mm, we can provide steel only at the one face. If it is a more than 200 mm, then only we should go for this two layers. Okay. Generally what happens, I have seen designers providing, especially in water treatment plants, thickness is starting from 100 mm to 200 mm. Even in 100 mm also, people are providing 2 layers of steel. I wonder how to place that 2 layer steel, at what spacing, and how to compact it, which compactor to be used. Okay, so many things are there. Okay, so we have to keep in mind, even 200 mm is little bit on higher side. I suggest even 175 mm thick, we should go only for single layer of reinforcement. Doesn't matter, our effective depth will decrease here. We can provide little bit more steel, doesn't matter. If it is a more than 175, we can have 2 layers of this one. Now we can see 45 mm cover. We can still have more than 50 mm gap in between, so that we can put our vibrator and we can have good concrete done. Okay. This is a minimum steel suggested by our IS code. If it is less than 200 mm, we provide at the center. Okay. If this is more than 200 mm, less than 500, this I will try to show with respect to sketch. Yes. This is the ground slab. This is basically for ground slab. If it is a 300 mm, less than 300 mm, we can have D by 2 minimum steel provided here. If it is 300 to 500, we can have steel provided at the top as well as bottom, depending on this thickness, D by 2 and 100 mm. If it is a more than 500 mm, minimum steel calculated using 250 mm here and 100 mm here. This steel can be provided here as well as at this particular point. Okay. Now, I am coming to IS 3370, Annexure A. Crack width due to temperature and moisture. This is a minimum steel which is given by IS 3370, which is based on FCT by FY ratio. Now you can see FCT depends on the grade of concrete. Okay. Suppose it is a M25 grade of concrete. Our FCT is 1.15. If it is M30 grade concrete, it is 1.3. If it is M35, M45, it will be different. Now you can see grade of steel, our steel increases as we go for higher, our minimum steel increases as we go for higher grade of concrete. Okay. But if we are going for higher grade of steel, it is reducing. Okay. Then expression is given for temperature and moisture also. The T1 and T2. We can prepare. See, this particular charts we have already prepared. Okay, I will just give reference also for this. Okay. Now based on diameter of bar, if it is 8 mm diameter of bar, T1 plus T2, we can have these values, and this is a thickness of wall, or in case of ground supported slabs, surface zone. Our steel we can select from this. Okay. Now you can see, suppose it is a 200 mm wall. Okay. And our T1 plus T2 is 40. We can say that a minimum steel will be, which we need to provide from temperature as well as a moisture point of view, is 536 mm. Okay. For 200 mm thick wall and 40 mm 40 degrees T1 plus T2 and 8 mm diameter bar. Okay. If it is a 10 dia bar, this steel will be different. If it is 12 diameter of bar, this steel will be different. Okay. We have already prepared these particular charts. Okay. Now crack spacing. Now this is based on moment. Okay. See, this serviceability condition, moment expression is given IS 3370. Okay. This is a moment expression for serviceability limit, and this is moment expression for ultimate load. Okay, we can use this particular expression. Okay, and we can prepare the tables. We have already prepared tables. Okay, for MS serviceability moment as well as MU ultimate moment for different crack widths. This is for 0.2 mm crack width, clear cover 45 mm, FY 415, FCK 25 mm, and diameter of bar 10. Okay, we can have, see, this will be different for different diameter. Okay. Now this is a depth. Suppose it is a 200. Now you can see how to read this. This is 200 thick is wall. If we are providing 10 dia 150 bar, our serviceability moment will be 19 kilonewton meter and our ultimate moment will be 27 kilonewton meter. Okay, but same thing, suppose we are having 10 dia 200 center to center, our MS will be 16 and MU will be 20. But same thing, if it is a 1000 center to center, we can see it is MS is 25 and MU is 39. So we can play, we can reduce the slab wall thickness in limit state method, and we can play with reinforcement. Okay, so our reinforcement will be more than this one. It will be more than required as per this temperature, and it should be more than minimum thickness required as per this. So these three things we have to remember. Okay, it should be more than this minimum requirement, it should be more than temperature, and it should be more than serviceability conditions. Okay, normally what happens, we calculate from analysis, we get certain moments, MS. By applying 1.5 factor, we get MU. We can cross check from this and we can directly get the reinforcement here. Okay, so this example of this table I have already explained. Okay. Generally what happens, our moment depends on, see, while doing analysis, I have shown you those charts, IS 3370 as well as PCI. Our moment as well as hoop tension depends on H square by DT ratio. Height of container is known, diameter of container is known, but T we have to assume. We have to assume T. Okay. Now, what happens? Suppose we assume T 200 mm. We do all the things, and suppose that T is not sufficient. We have to go for 250 mm. We have to again start back from start. Okay, that is again recalculate the moment, recalculate the hoop tension, and start doing the design. Okay, so what happened? We try to prepare a graph like this, depending on square root of H by R ratio and thickness. See, H is known and R is known. Okay, we can have these particular things. Let's say it is somewhere here, 0.2. We say that thickness T 200 will be enough. Now, how it is calculated? See, normally what happens, thickness is calculated by bending expression as well as hoop tension expression. And both are depend on H square by DT ratio. So we can design our thickness from moment criteria as well as hoop tension criteria, and we'll get two thicknesses. We equate those two thicknesses and try to get this particular table. Now this table is for working stress method, because this I am using working stress method here. Same thing can be done for limit state method also. You can see this is a moment, okay, and this is a hoop tension. We can do same thing for this, okay, and try to get similar table for this. Okay, now how to do using this table? Let's say height and radius of container is 2.56 mm. Calculate root H by R. It comes 0.2635. From the chart, the thickness value comes 0.17 times of H square by R. That is 177 mm. Provide 177 mm. Okay, or more than this. Okay, so we don't have to keep on doing repetitions. Okay, and this can be prepared by anyone. Okay, with the small Excel sheets. Okay, we have to just keep in mind that thickness from bending expression as well as thickness from hoop tension equate with each other, and try to get these expressions for this. Okay. This is my last slide now. Most of this work whatever I have presented, as I have mentioned, it is done by MTech students as well as PhD students, and this R&D project where development of standardized design procedure and type design for elevated service reservoir. See what happened here in this project. We have general theory, general expression, then theory. We have prepared Excel sheets. We have prepared design tables. Some of the design table we have already explained to you, and design drawings, detailed drawings also. Now here, I try to prepare drawings for 20,000 capacity to 1 lakh liter capacity with a limitation of only 4 columns and staging height ranging from 12 meter to 20 meter. Okay, but capacity is up to 1 lakh, and that with a limitation of only 4 columns. Okay, detailed drawings are also prepared for soft soil as well as hard soil, as well as all the zones. Okay, tomorrow I will try to show some of the tables for this. All the zones, that's a seismic zone 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, as well as all the winds. Okay, so this the particular things can be cross-checked. Okay, or it can be refer. Okay, to check your detailed design. Okay, so this I have prepared for Department of Drinking Water Supply, Rajiv Gandhi National Drinking Water Mission, Ministry of Rural Development. Okay, and this particular things. Okay, thank you. Now, if there is a, now we can go for question and answer session.
Yes, sir. Some of the comments we can go through that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, Engineer K.R. Garudujan has made a remark saying that substitution of one dia bar with a certain spacing with different dia. Oh, it has.
Yes.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah. I will try to see.
Yeah.
Achha, I could not see this, so I could not use different pointer here. Okay,
so yeah, substitution of one dia bar with a certain spacing with different dia bar with increased decreased spacing is very common phenomena. As the presenter was mentioning, it is better to avoid.
Yeah, because what happens, it is a design, because nowadays designer has to design this particular crack width. Right. Suppose designer has designed this 10 dia 125 center to center for 0.1 mm crack width. If we are providing 12 dia bar at a higher spacing, definitely our crack width will increase. So designers' efforts, they are defeated. Correct. Okay. Yes, if they can use same diameter, the higher diameter, but same spacing. But in that case, what happens? We are providing more steel, and that also may not be correct. There can be audit objection.
As well as crack width consideration is also there.
Yes.
Another question is, sir, what is the difference between conventional shape and non-conventional shapes of water tank? And which shapes listed in non-conventional shapes of water tank?
See, non-conventional, we can say that, okay, generally circular shape is there. Okay. Inch type is one type, then circular shape. Okay. See, in inch type, people, they provide some shapes which are from architectural point of view. Those are unconventional basically. Okay. So my discussions will be basically on circular type of things. Okay.
What is the advantage of toe in tank base?
Toe, yes, it reduces the moment, plus it provides more spectra safety for sliding, as well as see, you can see on the toe we are providing additional soil, so even it can help in uplifting also.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that was very interesting. And another thing is that one remark was made, M20 is the common grade of concrete used for residential construction.
No, see, that was earlier.
Yeah.
See, that was earlier. Nowadays, M25 is the standard grade of concrete. Okay. So we should not, at least for buildings, we should not go below one M25.
From the exposure conditions perspective also.
Yeah, yes, correct.
And some of them have requested for change in timing. I think those who are not able to log in can also see our Facebook Live, which would be there based on your convenience. So it may not be possible to change the timing as requested by certain participants, because we have already fixed the timing itself. So that was a very interesting presentation, sir, by you, because you had gone into the practical aspects. In fact, some of the assumptions that used to be made in design, whether it is fixed and all those kind of things. And
basically what happens, we make assumption. Yes. Okay. See, I have seen people, they do analysis, and let's say steel requirement is, let's say 275 mm steel. Okay. Yeah. They will provide 2 12 dia bar and one, let's say 8 dia bar to make it 275. I say, be little bit liberal. Your analysis is not that exact. Okay, it can be, let's say 312 dia bar. Okay. True. See, generally I comment it many times. See, we want our kid to have strong bones, but we don't want more steel. Okay. In our steel, because what happened, there is a one misconception also, I will say. At third year level, we are teaching to students more steel is dangerous. Over-enforce. Basically, none of our section becomes over-enforce. See, over-enforce means what? We are providing steel only on one face. generally we provide steel on both the faces. At least in water tank, there is no question of over enforcement. Okay, just try to see steel beam theory, which earlier it was very popular. We used to have both sides same steel. Okay, so there is nothing like over enforced nowadays. Okay, but somehow I have seen people, okay, they are providing very less steel, and tomorrow I will show some slides.
Okay.
Because of that, what happens?
Because tomorrow at 11 a.m. No.
Yes,
We'll be...
yes.
Okay, one more question has come up, sir. In FEM model of tanks as whole, what are the boundary conditions of walls? Should we take it as hinge or fixed?
See what happened in FEM. Even we can model our base slab also. See, there is no limit in FEM. So boundary conditions they doesn't arrive much. They don't give. We can have very exact analysis. That's why I was what we are recommending that frame analysis. It is a very good technique. Okay, I think people should stop using IS 3370 these particular tables, and they should go for that frame analysis. It will just within few minutes they can have results, including deflections, shear force, moments, and whatnot. Okay.
Sir, what height is considered for sloshing effect of water tank due to earthquake?
See, height. See, we have to decide that. Depending on a sloshing height is given by zone, seismic zone, and our diameter of tank. Okay, height of water. It gives our sloshing height. Now our freeboard has to be little bit more than that. Otherwise, it will start hitting the roof slab and damaging it. Yes.
I think that's it. So we will log in again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Engineer Krishna Sahagari sir, would you like to share some of your views, sir? It is not able to hear, sir. It is unmute, please. Yeah. No, it's okay.
I would like to thank Dr. Ingle for a wonderful presentation and for throwing light on the frame analogy method versus finite element method. Also, sometimes some of the designers tend to ignore the circumferential stresses at the bottom. So taking envelope in design is a good option. So thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir. Then we will meet tomorrow at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Correct. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.